get a job and that they can go out and they can be successful, they can provide for themselves and for their families. And that's a practical way of serving them. But in doing that, in the context of that, I have opportunities to share Jesus with them. On the first day of class, I regularly announce and let them know I'm a Christian. I don't want to be ashamed of that. I don't want to apologize for that. I don't want to make any of them uncomfortable, and I try hard to not do that. But I think what I hear from them is, for the Christians, it encourages them to know that there's a Christian professor out there. Hey, you're somebody with a PhD. You're smart. You're teaching me. I respect you. You have credibility with me. And yet you chose Jesus? And that's cool. And for some students who are not Christians, it sparks conversations. Maybe not that day, maybe later in the quarter or later in the year, but it sparks those conversations. So how did you come to that conclusion? And what's cool is I'm not the only one. You'll see, I think out in back they've got some cards here, Meet the Prof, and there's a whole bunch of faculty on there from Cal Poly who have said, yes, I'm not ashamed to say that I'm a Christian. Put my name on that list. And there are some super smart people on that list, and to know that you don't have to commit intellectual suicide to become a Christian. In fact, I think it's just the opposite, that it's a very logical conclusion that you can come to, so that it's a very small step of faith, and it makes sense. This is the best thing to follow Jesus. And I think that can be encouraging for some students, and I hope it is for you all. So it's cool that I'm not alone. Other ways that I'm able to be a Christian at Cal Poly is just conversations that happen in my office or around campus with students and other faculty. Sometimes we have visitors that come, different distinguished guests or people that come, and I get to interact with them. I know just a couple of years ago, Marissa Mayer came to campus, and so she is now the CEO of Yahoo. At the time, she was an executive vice president with Google, and I have a lot of connections with Google. I do all this Android stuff, and so they asked me to be the one to take her to lunch the day that she was here, and she spoke. And I said, sure, I'd be happy to. We talked about all sorts of things, but among the topics was that of Jesus Christ. Why do I believe what I believe? And how does it change my life and transform my life? And she was very interested. We had a great conversation that day about that. And I think, okay, God, why did you place me in that position to have that conversation? How many people have taken the opportunity with somebody like Marissa to have that conversation with her? It was God's plan, I believe. It was just a challenge for me to be obedient and not be afraid and have courage to speak up about who I am and what Jesus has done in my life. So I have opportunities like that. And as I mentioned, I'm not alone. There's lots of Christian faculty on campus. I encourage you, pray for them, encourage them. Feel free to engage in conversation about these things as you encounter them. So I want to end with just what's your calling? Okay. What is it that God has placed on your heart or is developing in your heart? What interests and aptitudes has He given you? What open doors is He creating for you to walk through? What opportunities are there out there? Are these things consistent with God's Word? Are you getting godly advice? But what is God's calling on your life? Where and to whom will He send you? He sent me as a missionary to Cal Poly. That's pretty cool. Cal Poly pays my salary. I don't have to go and raise support. And I am a self-supporting missionary, is how I view it, how I look at life at Cal Poly. And yeah, I get distracted by all of the teaching and research and the work that I have to do in computer science. But the reason I'm there is to share the gospel, to share about Jesus Christ with others. And so where is God going to place for you to go? Thank you for having me tonight. And